Hello, it's Miss Libby Rose here. I wanted to talk to you about the big sewing questions. So my theme for 2018 is your big sewing questions. So some of you might have already seen this. I know that I've changed my headers and all sorts to try and spread the word and get your questions in. And so far they have been coming in quite a lot, and I'll go through those in a sec. But what I'd really like to do is get more questions in, please. So I'd love to hear your questions, and my mission for 2018 is to be answering them all. So whether that be on Facebook Lives or written blog posts, or even linking in with some friends or some people that I've been working with and get their answers in as well. So the more questions that we have in, the better, because the more answers that you'll have, and the more we'll be able to share the love on sewing, because you never know, a lot of other people might be struggling with the same thing that you are too. So far, some of the questions that have been coming through are bias binding neatly, bias binding. So actually there's about 3 or 4 already on bias binding, different ways of using bias binding. Embroidery, so fiddly applique on the sewing machine. There's another couple of questions on appliques and embroidery as well. Laying patterns on fabric. So that's a really good one, and there's a few here about how you lay patterns down. So when you're laying fabric down, which way do you put the pattern? One, in order to, there's a question here on in order to get the most use out of your fabric, and there's another couple here on so that you're not so that it's not stretching in funny ways. So that's good as well. That is really good, because it's all about how you lay your fabric nicely when you're putting your patterns first of all. Now that can be really fiddly, but getting it right is always a good start to your sewing, because we can do all the fancy things we like with our sewing machine, but if you haven't laid the fabric correctly in the first place, well, that can set you off on the wrong foot in no end. So yeah, getting most out of fabric. How do you make trousers? Well, okay. The trousers that actually fit. All right, I can talk to you a bit about trouser making. Oilcloth fabric. Well, I've got some friends that do a lot of work with oilcloth, so we might be able to ask them to get involved with that one. Yes, sewing with stretch and jersey. Okay, that's good too. Yeah, that's really good, because I sew a lot with stretch and with jerseys. So these are going to start being answered in as the new year comes in. So as 2018 starts, I'll be starting off my blog posts, and it looks like there'll be a few there on bias binding, but I'd love to hear more. So please do fill in the Google form there's links and things below here, so that you can just click on and you can fill it in as many times as you like, and also share it around with your friends. So anybody you know that might have some questions on sewing or anything that they're finding tricky, do share it around, and you can fill the form in. You can ask as many times as you like, because I've got a whole year to fill next year, so the more questions I get, the better. And I also want to take this opportunity to wish you a wonderful New Year's, and have some lovely New Year's Eve celebrations out there. And I will see you in 2018 with your big sewing questions. So see you in 2018. Happy New Year.